Hey guys, I'm not feeling great, so my voice is a little off, and I didn't plan on reading these, but I figure I might as well just try to get through the first few pages of that ancient Greece story so I could post it for you guys. So this is going to be not so great, but at least you guys will have it if you guys need it. So you guys can follow along because I did post it on there, but this is the Ancient Greece story by Kim Covert. Chapter 1, The Ancient Olympics. 20 runners get into position on the starting line. A trumpeter sounds the start of the race. Sand flies up as runners race down the 210, 192-meter track. The crowd cheers as the runners cross the finish line. The judges place a wreath of olive leaves on the winner's head. Later, horse-drawn chariots line up on an oval track. At the sound of the trumpet, each driver urges his horses forward. In the first turn, a driver cuts in front of another chariot. The two chariots run into each other and tip over. The horses and drivers crash to the ground. Several more chariots fall in the pileup. Many horses and drivers are hurt. The drivers who miss the wreck bolt to the finish line. The owner of the winning chariot receives a wreath of olive leaves. Foot races and chariot races were part of the Olympic Games of ancient Greece. Wrestling, boxing, and the pentathlon were other events. The pentathlon included javelin, discus, long jump, running, and wrestling. The first recorded Olympics were held in 776 BC. The games took place in Olympia, a town in western Greece. They honored the Greek god Zeus. In Greek mythology, Zeus was the ruler of all the Olympian gods. For 1,000 years, the Olympic Games were held every 4 years. Before each Olympics, the Greeks stopped all warfare. No wars could be fought just before, during, or after the games. Wars were stopped so athletes and people coming to watch could travel to and from the games safely. The modern Olympics are one of the many traditions developed in Greece. Ancient Greece is often called the cradle of Western civilization. It was the birthplace of many modern ideas. Greek ideas are found in today's government, art, architecture, and literature. They are also seen in science, drama, and athletics. Right, Chapter 2, Early Greeks. The Minoans. The first civilization in Greece formed on the island of Crete. The Minoans lived from 2200 to 1450 BC. They built a huge port on Crete and a large fleet of ships. Their ships allowed them to trade with the people in other areas. The Minoans also built palaces. They covered the palace walls with paintings. The paintings show happy, peaceful people. The Minoans built their largest palace at Knossos. The palace honored King Minos. In Greek mythology, Minos was a son of Zeus. So then for this section down here too, it says chariot race. This is a scene from the vase of a 500s BC. It shows a chariot race, one of the ancient Olympic events. And then this one, ruins of a Minoan palace at Knossos can be seen today. Sir Arthur Evans discovered the ruins in the early 1900s. The Mycenaeans. By about 1600 BC, the Mycenaeans had settled in cities on the Greek mainland. A king ruled each city. Mycenaeans built huge walls around their palaces. Paintings, gold, and jewels decorated their palaces. The Mycenaeans were great warriors. Around 1450 BC, the Mycenaeans invaded Crete. They conquered the Minoans, who disappeared from history at this time. According to legend, around 1220 BC, the Mycenaeans conquered Troy. This city was in the northwest coast of Asia Minor. Today, this area includes the country of Turkey. Stories about the Trojan War have lasted to the present day. Few Mycenaeans remained in Crete or Greece by 1200 BC. Their palaces on the mainland were destroyed. Historians believe that they were invaded by another civilization. Soon after, the Dorians took over Crete. They came from northern Greece. The Trojan War. According to legend, the Mycenaeans attacked the city of Troy to rescue Helen. She was the wife of King Menelaus of Sparta. A Trojan prince had kidnapped her. The tall walls around Troy kept the Greeks out for 10 years. Finally, the Greeks built a huge hollow wooden horse. They gave it to the Trojans as a gift. The Trojans dragged the horse into Troy. They did not know that the Greek warriors were hiding inside. That night, the warriors climbed out and opened the city's gates. The Greek army then defeated the Trojans. Around 750 BC, two long poems about the Trojan War were written. The Iliad describes the long struggle between Greek and Trojan soldiers. The Odyssey tells the story of the hero Odysseus. He suffers from many difficulties while trying to get home after the Trojan War. Historians disagree about who wrote the poems. Many believe that the Greek poet Homer wrote them. The Dark Age. Historians know little about Greece from 1100 to 800 BC. During this time, Greece was a land of small farming villages. These villages had little contact with one another. Historians called this period the Dark Age. Around 800 BC, the Greeks appeared in history again. They built new colonies in parts of Europe and Africa. They traded with Western Asia and learned to make iron objects. With iron, the Greeks could more easily make tools for farming and other tasks. The Phoenicians lived across the Mediterranean Sea. The Greeks traded with the Phoenicians and learned their alphabet system and system of writing. They also learned about Phoenician art and shipbuilding. This progress helped end the Dark Age. So that's the end of chapters 1 and 2, and I'll read chapters 3 and 4 in the next one.